Here we are, live, Doug Fisher, with our outdoor beach harbor studio.
What's up, everybody?
Following our COVID restrictions and rules and regulations from the state of California.
Welcome.
We have the Southern California weather report, Dougie. Let's see here.
It's nice.
For everyone in the cold weather, we have the palm trees. It's about, how would you say, about 75, 80 degrees today?
70, it's at least mid-70s.
We actually have yoga on the water here on paddleboards, which most people aren't familiar with. We got the palm trees. We're here in Marina Del Rey.
Yeah, that is impressive.
We'll move your coffee out of the camera shot here. So you got Sam Garcia sweatshirt on.
Yeah. I got the G's. So the Garcia.
The Don Hamilton Legacy.
Yep, Don Hamilton Legacy.
Garcia. Then you got Genesis. Oh wow, look at that. No, Geno's.
The Geno's. Cyborg. This is from One Punch Man.
There you go. And
it's anime. It's anime, but this dude's a badass.
And then you got the Triple G. Triple G, who's we announced his fight December 18th against Kamil Zaremeta, undefeated from Poland, IBF mandatory contender.
He's ranked by Ring Magazine. Zaremeta is in Ring Magazine's middleweight top 10.
There you go.
He's like 7, 8, 9, that area.
It's IBF mandatory.
Yeah,
I saw on Twitter. I was going to jump in there when we made the announcement. I saw you were kind of going back and forth with someone. I was going to jump in and help you out with when he was criticizing some of Triple G's.
No, well, somebody with the mailbag was asking about Triple G's legacy, and I told him, I said if he retires right now, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, just given his title run. I mean, if you count the WBA's interim regular title, like Ring Magazine doesn't recognize the regular title, but in Triple G's situation, he shouldn't have been the regular champion. They basically upgraded Felix Sturm to super championship to
They changed the rules.
Right.
In order to avoid that. Not only that, but he also had the IBO defenses.
In the WBA, if you were going to be a super champion, you had to be unified.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then they were like, well, no, actually, if you make 10 defenses of the title, then you're also a super middleweight.
They changed all kinds. They changed all kinds of rules.
Champ, another guy the regular champ, and then they'll also have an interim title, and it's all a big mess. But here's the thing, Triple G. Here's what I put in my mailbag. I said Triple G has been a world-class middleweight for 10 years.
That's correct.
And he's been in Ring Magazine's middleweight top 10 since December of 2011.
That's right.
And so 9 years he's been in our top 10, and in that time he's fought he's fought like more than a dozen ring ranked contenders, but 10 ring ranked middleweights.
Right.
Okay? And that includes guys, former title challengers, former unified belt holders like Daniel Geale, who was as high as number 2 at one time. Daniel Geale was number 2 when Triple G first entered the rankings at number 10.
That's right. They were rated above him, and even Matthew Macklin was rated very high. I think he was like number 3.
Martin Murray, who we wound up
Murray was very high.
The Ring Magazine champion was Sergio Martinez.
That's right.
And Martinez was never going to fight.
I had to put in a tweet to Lou when Lou criticized Cecilia Brækhus for not fighting Amanda Serrano 4 divisions below her. I had to throw in that Lou never agreed to Sergio Martinez, who was at the time, like you said, clearly the number 1 middleweight champion of the world, and Lou absolutely refused to put him in with Triple G in a unification fight.
I think it was Lou's HBO date when Matthew Macklin fought Triple G.
It was our date, but we let Lou do the deal at Fox.
Lead promoter, right?
No, we were the lead promoter, but he did the deal at Foxwoods. It was our date with HBO, but
Macklin got paid very well for that.
He got paid as much as Triple G. If you can imagine paying challengers the same amount as we were paying the champion at that time, that's the only way we could get guys. And we got to give a lot of credit to Matthew Macklin. He's as tough as they come, and to see him on the ring.
Been champion. He should have got the decision when he fought Felix Sturm.
Felix Sturm, that's right. And if you remember the year before, he gave Sergio Martinez all he wanted at Madison Square Garden. He even dropped him once.
Mac the Knife,
if you remember,
legit top 5 middleweight,
right?
And Triple G annihilated him. And afterwards,
he broke. I think it was 2 ribs the way he had him on the canvas.
Bella was interviewed by members of the media on camera.
Yeah.
And he said, "There's no way in hell
he's going to put Sergio Martinez in."
So
that's
credit
right.
to Lou for being honest. Just
yeah,
come right out
he was honest, but for the people,
that's the thing. So some guys who become Hall of Famers were avoided fighters, like Mike McCallum.
Right. Or you use the example of Marvin Hagler.
And there are many fighters in the Hall of Fame who didn't get a chance to fight fellow Hall of Famers. You know, Orlando Canizales.
That's right.
Or Brian Mitchell, or Jeff Chandler.
Yep.
But they had long, distinguished title reigns, and that's what Triple G had.
My argument, Doug,
that's
and
how I look at it.
You can weigh in on this. I think Triple G had one of the most dominant reigns that we've seen in recent history. Not only his knockouts, but just the way people avoided him. I mean, Carl Froch even famously at 168 said, "What's the point of fighting Triple G? Just swerve him,
and Julio
swerve him
Cesar
like the
Chavez,
pig."
who was a ranked middleweight when Triple G first cracked the rankings.
Chavez
had a
was
nice little WBC title reign.
Yeah, he was
took
offered
a lot out of Sergio Martinez.
He got offered multi-millions dollars from top rank.
Super middleweight, and he didn't want that smoke. So whatever. So then you have people out there say, well, Triple G avoided Andre Ward, which is absolute bullshit. And all you have to do is just look at the timeline.
The timeline, that's right. When
do.
Andre was injured, one time they could have fought.
And then show me. You know modern boxing.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for these big fights to be made, right?
That's right.
If there's serious discussions going on between two champions, it's reported in the media.
That's right.
Ongoing discussions.
Right.
These are the problems keeping the fight from being made.
Right.
You can't find anything. You can't Google Andre Ward and Triple G and say,
no, there were no discussions.
Rock Nation is in negotiations with Triple G Promotions.
There was no discussions. They sent
bullshit.
HBO said it was a political move. They sent an email offer, quote unquote offer, where they offered to fight Triple G at 168 on a 50-50 split. But that's when Triple G was guaranteed. We worked so hard to have him guaranteed the winner of Canelo and Cotto, which is either one of those, which would have been a much bigger fight than an Andre Ward fight. I'll tell you, the only time we could have made the Andre Ward fight with their timeline you're talking about was when he chose to fight Edwin Rodriguez.
Yep.
But he chose not to fight Triple G, which HBO would have taken the Triple G fight because he was coming off the injury and he wanted to fight an easier fight against Edwin Rodriguez.
Right, yeah.
And that was here in California.
Knew that Edwin Rodriguez probably wasn't going to make weight, which he didn't.
He didn't, right.
So
he got paid a lot of money. He got paid $1 million. Triple G would have taken $1 million to fight Andre Ward at that time. I remember talking to his managers, and they were all agreeable. And then Andre chose Edwin Rodriguez. And then Rodriguez got the $1 million, but he got fined $200,000, remember, because he missed the weight.
Yeah.
And that would have been at 160.
I mean, listen, people who say that just want to detract from Triple G.
But,
and if you don't, and for the people, and there's some real idiots out there, for the people who say, well, he just doesn't have that big name on his resume. I say, hello, Canelo Alvarez. That draw was a win.
Twice, that's right.
Everybody knows it. If you don't know it, you're a hater or you're an idiot.
The first fight was definitely a win. Second fight, arguably
face,
a draw.
I'm not just talking tough on camera here.
Right. No, not only that, but he was so dominant, he actually made champions vacate their titles. Can you imagine a champion as a unification fight?
All those guys who swerved him
were
ranked ahead of him in the ring's middleweight, like Hassan Ndam.
Right. He vacated the title.
They were ranked ahead of him.
Right.
Like Junior, like Chavez Jr. They were all ranked ahead of him.
That's right.
In late 2011.
Right, when he first...
so everybody who was ranked by the ring, as soon as he entered the ring rankings, everybody ranked that he fought, he knocked him out.
That's right.
Everybody else that was ranked ahead of him swerved him. It is what... But then he still fought contenders. You know, Curtis Stevens was
Curtis Stevens. Every time, Doug, we made a fight, Curtis Stevens...
Antonio Rubio was ranked.
Curtis Stevens was going to expose him. Then it was Matthew Macklin was going to expose him.
Nobody wanted.
And then
Curtis
Gil.
Stevens at that time was.
Nobody wanted to fight Curtis.
Nobody wanted
he was
him.
A big puncher. We fought him in his, in New York City. which was a great promotion.
And even the guys who came up in weight to fight him, they were top ranked. They were number one in their
Right,
division.
like Rosado. I put out there. Yeah, Rosado was the number one rated guy.
Kell Brook
Yeah.
was the number one ranked
At welterweight, and Rosado was number one middleweight. So Canelo vacated his title to avoid fighting Triple G.
Yep.
Daniel Geale, if you remember, after he beat Sturm,
Yep.
and we finally cornered the WBA, and they said, okay, now you got to fight Triple G, and then Geale vacated. He had both the IBF and WBA. He vacated the WBA in order not to fight Triple G.
And Hassan
And Dom, you mentioned him. He had the interim title, and it was supposed to be a mandatory. Right. It was supposed to be a mandatory for Triple G, and Dom vacated his mandatory position not to fight him. So I've never seen so many champions vacate titles in order to avoid fighting another champion.
Triple G would have done well in the 70s and 80s when a contender, no matter what, would take a title shot.
Right, and you made that point.
You didn't turn that opportunity, no matter how much you were paid.
No, you made that point.
But as it stands, his resume, it's not. It compares with Marvin Hagler and Carlos Monzon's in terms of the years that he reigned,
the length, the number of
fights, and the number of ring-ranked contenders that he faced.
Well, that was HBO's philosophy. They realized they were in on the negotiations. They realized they couldn't get these guys in the ring with them. And Mark Taffet, I remember Mark saying, "Look, if these guys can't fight or won't fight you, we're going to make Triple G the center of the wheel, and whoever's on the spokes, we're going to buy that fight." Because they realized it wasn't from any fault of our own that those guys wouldn't fight him for career high paydays, literally career high paydays. Yeah. Even Billy Joe Saunders, Triple G was going to go to England to fight Eubank Jr.,
That was in 2016.
Billy Joe Saunders, into their home country, and we couldn't make the fight. Here's Coach Dave Schwartz.
Sorry, we can go down this.
Yeah, we have lots to talk about. We got the Tyson fight to talk about. We got lots to talk about. That's right. He went to the Danny Jacobs fight. They were two former opponents of Triple G's. Rosado and Danny Jacobs were two former opponents.
Another guy fought on the card from his country.
Oh, from Kazakhstan, right? Yeah, Daniyar. Yeah.
Daniyar
Okay, so let me tell you about
That's right.
Danny Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs. Okay, here we go.
I'm the only guy that doesn't like him. I mean, I respect him for not wanting to get hurt and making a lot of money, but he doesn't do it for me. Plus, I feel he's a totally hypocrite. He's completely crapped over my man.
Andre Rozier. Can't do that.
I mean, who was like his stepdad.
That was tough. Yeah, that was difficult. I like Danny. Yeah, I don't like what he did with Andre and Rozier, and also didn't like, naturally, what he did with the IBF weigh-in for the Triple G fight. I mean, Doug, you can talk about that some more also.
We differ there because I actually thought if he was my fighter, I'd do the same thing. I mean,
but it was definitely predetermined.
It was planned. They had agreed to the second day weigh-in.
Right.
It gave them a huge weight advantage where Triple G had to come in some 10 pounds heavier.
Weigh-ins took place early in the morning,
and
9 a.m.
Yeah,
It was the earliest.
It was almost 2 days
experienced.
before.
Yeah.
That's right.
Were you there?
No,
I
slept in.
And you knew who fought that night then?
It was Mick Conlon was making
Mick Conlon, pro debut. Yeah, Conor McGregor.
St. Patrick's Day.
Conor McGregor walked him into the ring. I remember that. We were there. We were there at the theater.
Yeah.
His third fight.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I would do the same thing. I respect him for that. So they tricked everyone.
The IBF changed their rules because of that. It happened twice. It happened the week before. It happened with Lemieux. Remember Lemieux and Curtis Stevens, where Lemieux had a huge weight advantage and actually knocked out Stevens.
Yep.
Then it happened with Triple G Jacobs, where Jacobs had a huge weight advantage, and Triple G still knocked him down. Still won the fight. But the IBF, because they handcuffed their own champion, I told them, I said, you're hurting your own champion. You're hurting your IBF champion who's following your rules.
One guy weigh in, make weight the second day, and the other guy.
So the IBF didn't recognize Danny as challenging for their title.
And I would say Jacobs, to me, just eyeballing Jacobs looked 180.
He was big.
And then people get mad
at
Canelo for asking Jacobs to weigh in the morning of the fight and cap it, not put on as much.
Because he knows Danny can get big.
Exactly.
Well, they was history then.
They
were
true. So getting off Danny Jacobs, what? So what'd you think?
But Triple G was in a more exciting fight with both Rosado and Jacobs. He pressed the action. But what were we going to say?
Last word on Triple G.
Yeah.
I think as time goes on, when people look back at his resume, they're gonna say like, he fought a lot of quality guys.
No, he was the real
You know what I
boogeyman.
mean?
I mean, these guys all were.
But when you see
really.
those guys fight each other and keep going on, and the guys who go on to do things, I mean, Danny Jacobs might win a world title at 168.
And who told you about
Canelo is.
My prediction is Danny will never fight. I like Danny a lot. I like his son. I get along with him very well, but he'll never fight again as good as he did with the Triple G fight under those circumstances.
It's kind of looking like that.
He really kind of peaked for that fight.
Find out about Triple G originally.
Sam Garcia called me.
Sam
no
Garcia
one knew who the hell he was.
said
Nobody
there's
had
some
a name for me. They just said this guy from Russia's kicking people's ass up in
Big Bear.
I'm like, who? The Russian. And I'm like, does he have a name?
He's a Russian.
We call him Superman.
Yeah, he sparred with Canelo back in those days.
That I saw.
Dougie was there live.
Yeah,
Doug was one of the few guys that saw it live, the sparring with Triple G and Canelo.
He was on my radar, definitely.
So Dougie also, though, Valero, he was...
Edwin Valero.
Valero on my radar, definitely.
He was...
You guys watched to see him fight down at the Marriott, right?
We did. We drove to
you know Valero's last fight?
What about his last
Do you know
fight?
who it was?
Antonio DeMarco and Showtime.
So let's go into some. So we covered Triple G. So he's fighting December 18th down at the Hard Rock in Florida, Seminole Hard Rock. Florida's pretty open as far as the training and everything like that. Ali Akhmedov, who's with Triple G Promotions, he's fighting on that show as well. They're both
Fighting a tough guy?
both trained by Jonathan Banks. We haven't announced his opponent yet,
Okay.
but should be announced this week.
He's almost ready, man.
Both. So Jonathan Banks is training both Ali and Triple G, and he trained Badu Jack. He flew in for the Tyson fight, and Badu Jack won
But Badu Jack's form.
on that show.
Good jab, good combination.
He looks just like Jonathan Banks, physically and the way he fights.
Yeah, definitely.
But I love Jonathan.
Jonathan's very, very astute, very smart guy that really cut his teeth with Emmanuel Stewart as a boxer, and then learned, really all the techniques of the Kronk system from Emmanuel, and then stepped in, like we talked many times about, training Vladimir Klitschko.
So we're all very impressed with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the Tyson Jones fight. The whole show was impressive. We have Colin Morgan here all the way from New York City. Colin is in town. He's got the Brian Sabayo shirt on. So Brian is fighting on the Ring City show Thursday, December 3, against Larry Gomez, 10-1. Larry Gomez, and Brian right now is he's 11-1, right? 11-0. 11-0. Who Brian also fought on two of the Triple G undercards. You saw those, right, Doug? He fought.
Who did he fight on the Triple G Rolls undercard?
That was the guy from Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
I forgot how to say his name, but he was 12-0 with like 10 knockouts.
Nice. To me, that was Brian's best performance.
He had 14-0, 15 fights, 14-0, 1 no contest.
1 no contest with 12 knockouts, right? 12 knockouts.
So
Brian
Brian was the matador.
Right.
And the guy from Kazakhstan was the bull.
Uberov or something like that, or Ubov.
Ustinov?
Ubov.
Yeah, Ubov. That's right. Very good. Yeah,
Short, stocky, big puncher.
Yeah, same guy. Same guy fought Jaron Ennis, who people are in love
Right.
with.
Yeah.
Ennis got the stoppage.
But John Ennis had 25-0 when he fought Ubov.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian was 8-0 when he fought Ubov
Right.
with 15 fights, so
Right.
it was a huge difference. I
Yeah.
don't know if when Ennis had 8 fights, he would have fought Ubov.
Oh, probably not. No.
So Brian's fighting on the Ring City show. We got to give them props. It's on NBC Sports Network. It's this Thursday from the world famous Wildcard Gym
Club
in Hollywood.
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, right down the street from the Avalon, where we do the Hollywood Fight Nights. But so
Avalon,
that's Thursday
A
night.
little bit of a nicer venue.
Thursday
Brian
night.
has fought at least 3 times, if not more.
Yeah, he's fought there a number of times. Yeah,
Did he? Yeah.
and Thursday night, NBC Sports Network
You guys wanna tune in?
against Larry Gomez.
I'm familiar with Brian.
Free
Sabato,
TV,
thanks
free
to
TV,
360
NBC
Promotions.
Sports Network. Yeah,
But if you're not familiar with him, you're gonna like what you see.
he'll be the co-feature on the show.
Very talented.
So that's why Colin's in town. So anyone that has questions for Colin, actually, it's hard for me to see. It's so sunny out here, which is not a bad thing. But
You know what I would love to see?
if anyone has
I would
questions for Colin,
I would love to see or hear Sugar Ray Leonard's take on Brian Sabayo. Just watching him train or watching him fight. I would love to hear what Sugar Ray what his take on Brian would be.
I'll tell you what
They remind me of each other. Brian's just physically speaking. They're
you know what?
like,
You're right. Yeah.
They're athletic, obviously decorated amateur careers.
Yeah.
But the way they move about the ring and stop to let the hands go,
That's an interesting comparison. I never really thought about that, but now that you say that, I agree.
I mean, it's kind of blasphemous to compare anybody with Sugar Ray.
Ray is in his own league,
and I don't want to put that kind of pressure on Brian.
But you're right, similar style-wise, yeah.
I'm just talking style. I'm just talking style and demeanor and even how they are outside of the ring. Very pleasant.
What was great with Brian, or what is great about Brian, is he's one of those one of the boxers who, when it comes to a big platform, a tough fight, he'll rise to the occasion and actually have his best performance, like we were talking about with Ubuff. He rose to the occasion. It was a very dangerous fight for him at Madison Square Garden. He sold the most tickets. He had a big rooting base there for anyone on the undercard, and rose to the occasion on both Triple G shows at the Garden. And some fighters go the other way, where they kind of freeze under pressure.
Which is natural. Norm, you get tight. You get tight under those bright lights and that pressure. Sure.
So, Colin, how do you see this fight with Larry Gomez coming up on Thursday night?
Well, I think Brian's going to do really, really, really good. Like you said, he likes the big shows.
He's been off for a while, so I'm sure he's itching to get back into the ring, right?
He wants to get back in there so bad. He wants to show, because his name is not mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody mentioned all the other young fighters, all the upcoming people. And
right.
His name is never mentioned, so he wants to get his name in that mix.
Absolutely.
So he's going to try to put on the best show he could. So, and hopefully people could start, getting his name into the mix of the next.
Well, he definitely made. People were talking about him with the Ubuff victory, right on the at the Garden.
Brian's still under the radar. Like it was
for the mainstream, sure.
Like when Jaron Ennis beat him, people lost their minds. People were saying like Ennis would waste Keith Thurman and Sean Porter and Errol Spence on the same night. You know what I mean?
I like Ennis. No,
I do too.
Boots is a great fighter. Yeah.
Ennis. I'm just saying, as far as like the welterweight prospects right now, the two guys everyone talks about, and they've earned it, is Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Sure. Yeah, both those guys, yeah.
Ortiz Jr. was like the prospect of the year for 2019, right? But they're in the welterweight division. I'm curious, Collins, and if Brian was here, I'd ask him, like, what are your thoughts on the up-and-comers of the welterweight division? Because there's more than a few. Golden Boy's got a couple.
There's some great matchups for Brian, yeah.
Rashidi Ellis,
right,
who had a nice win recently. And even our guy, he's not really a prospect because he's in his 30s already, but Blair Cobbs.
Oh, Blair the Flair. That's one of Coach's favorite fighters.
Nigel Ben's son.
Connor Ben had a nice win. That's right. He's a welterweight, too.
That could be a big fight one day in England or whatever, because, just with his name, he's going to have...
The one thing I've noticed working with Colin and Brian is they're not afraid to take on a tough challenge. Even this fight with Larry Gomez is 10-1. Which is a challenging fight with 8 knockouts. It's really, on paper, it's a 50-50 fight.
Did you train Brian as an amateur also?
No, I didn't. I just trained him. When I started training Brian, he had two professional fights.
Yeah.
Then I took him. I think he was still like being an amateur, moving around much for his first 2 fights.
Sure.
And the team wanted him to be a little more professional, so I got on board. And
who have you trained that we would know?
I've trained Larry Donald when he beat Rondo Holyfield.
Oh yeah.
I've trained.
You know what year that was?
Yes, that was 2006.
Is that right, Doug?
Yeah.
Larry Donald over at Holyfield. So Doug's
2004. Sorry.
Doug's our fact checker.
2004.
Yeah. Well, it's
2004.
Holyfield was on a losing streak because he fought.
No, he just lost to James Toney.
He had lost to Toney, right? It was and Toney was 2003.
That was a great win. I was up there in Las Vegas for that fight.
Yeah, so they choose
Toney and Holyfield.
Donald to get him like a fight back to get him.
Yeah.
And
but
he lost
like
long
every round.
style.
Every round. Yeah.
I've trained.
In fact, I think the New York commissioner at the time might have been Ron Scott Stevens, who was out here now.
Yeah, he's out here. That's right. Yeah.
He said, Holyfield, you're done. Yes. You're like, you can't fight no more.
Well, Holyfield, after that fight, he went to Germany and fought the big
Valuev, yeah.
and he had
Should've won that.
a very close fight.
Yeah, he
He
should have
still
won
had
it.
some other fights after that.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying that
Yeah,
Holyfield was done when Larry
Yeah.
fought him. I'm saying Holyfield was fighting these Chris Bird,
Yeah.
James Toney, Larry Donald. Like those were the worst.
Worst styles for him, yeah.
But I kind of love it. Like he didn't care.
You
Like
know who
you know.
Holyfield's next fight's going to be against?
No.
I do.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
They're talking about them
Did
fighting.
you watch Collins? Did you watch Tyson Jones exhibition?
Yes, I watched it.
What did you think of their form?
I think it was good for the age. I think it was good.
Right.
It was good.
The guys in their
It's
50s.
good for the age.
Ironically,
I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I was like, no, even like at
You
the
can make a
weigh-in,
comeback.
Like, I'm looking at their
Doug
bodies,
might
and
make
I'm
a
like,
comeback.
You know what? I'm like, they look. I mean, they were ripped for their age. You know what I mean? But they were also. It looked like an aging man's body as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't unnatural muscle or anything like that.
I think.
And the fact that they wore their fatigue on their, like, after a couple rounds, just 2-minute rounds, they were both tired. And like it's like, but it was normal. It was a natural effort, but it was an honest
So
effort.
I was shocked that Tyson was so good because I thought he'd fight for about maybe a round and a half or something,
and then just totally
collapse.
fall off.
Yeah.
No, he,
But it was good they had the 2-minute rounds though.
he paced himself
That
well. and
that definitely
I
had a faster
thought,
pace.
I thought Roy Jones was good on his feet. He stayed
Yeah.
off the
I thought
ropes.
Yeah, Roy moved
And he
well.
punched on the fly.
I thought he
Yeah.
was smart at
Pop.
that.
Yeah.
Punch. He
It was a
would
work
start
out.
moving when he launched the punch,
Yeah.
but it would land.
Yeah.
And he's out of the way.
So Holyfield trains out in Florida also. He's out there close to that casino
He's getting in shape.
at the
He's-
heavyweight factory.
he knows
He's in good shape. Yeah, I see his
I wouldn't
videos. He's in
mind
good shape.
seeing Holyfield versus Roy Jones.
That's a good
I
fight
know
too.
the one that would sell is
The good thing about
Tyson Holyfield
those
3.
those fighters is they're like Superfly. You can interchange
Exactly.
a lot of them, and they'll be entertaining.
You need Tyson to get the big bucks.
Oh, of course.
So what else did we have? So Brian's fighting on Thursday. Then I'll hear the paddleboarders coming in from their yoga class.
Good exercise. Huh?
Then we had the heavyweight fight from the UK. We had
props to Joe Joyce.
Dubois and Joe Joyce.
I thought Dubois would beat him. I thought
He was the
Dubois
favorite.
would
He
be
was
too
like a 3-1
fast, too
favorite.
nimble, and he didn't have an answer for that jab.
You
He
know-
got worn down, and the juggernaut is better than I thought he was.
You know who bet on Joe Joyce?
Abel Sanchez.
No, Abel used to train him, but
I
you
know.
know
I
who
told you
actually
you know.
bet on him?
Oh, JP, the ghost.
JP
Fight
bet on
Ghost?
Joe Joyce, 3-1
Great
underdog.
value. Wow,
Really good
3-1.
way. I thought it would be
Shouldn't
like-
have been. I thought it was more of an even type fight.
Yeah, that's how I would
I
have
thought if
handicapped
you-
it.
The longer it goes, the better for Joyce.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we had that fight, and then again, Badu Jack fought on the Tyson show.
Look good.
The upcoming
Paul had
fights.
that knockout.
Oh, we had Jake Paul. Jake Paul had the knockout over
Props to Nate Robinson.
Nate
for getting in
Robinson
the
for
ring
trying.
and boxing a guy who was 2-0
Yep,
in
that's right.
pro fights.
Right. You can see a difference of the experience in there.
No, he's too big for me, man. He's still an athlete.
I think you could take him.
I don't know.
And then we got not only Brian coming up on Thursday, then we got Danny Garcia and Errol Spence coming up on Saturday,
Yes, and that's
right? From
fascinating.
Dallas,
That's interesting.
Texas.
I'm
That's
interested
interesting.
in Colin's take on Spence Garcia because I think Garcia is dangerous and live, but I'm still going with Spence just with his amateur background, his height, his reach. If he boxes,
Yeah, I'm going with Spence too.
Days and doesn't make it too physical.
I'm going with Spence, although it's going to be interesting to see how he recovers from the car accident, which now he posted the photos. You could tell it was pretty.
Ooh, that was nasty.
It wasn't
didn't
like
wanna
he
see
walked
that.
away from the accident. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, my take was I think besides Floyd Mayweather,
Yeah.
I think Errol Spence was the next most focused fighter. Like Floyd to me was not like the most flamboyant or all the skills or something, but his focus was his ski that makes him win. He could still stay
And
with what he
always
was
trained
doing.
very hard. Yeah.
He stayed with what he was doing. It doesn't matter
Right.
who, if the crowd booed, if people tell him whatever it is, he stayed with what he's doing, and he just won it.
Mm-hmm.
And next to being that focused, I think the next was I've seen is like Errol Spence.
Errol Spence.
He stayed
Errol is
within-
quality. Yeah.
He stayed within what it is that he's doing, run after run after run. He doesn't get like flustered or make a lot of mistakes.
That's interesting.
So I would like to see after the accident if he maintains that same
If
focus.
he maintains the focus, right?
Well, I think that's the key to his victory in this fight is to box a very
Stay disciplined,
fight.
yeah.
Stay
You're right.
behind the jab,
Yeah.
long range.
Right.
Kind of like he did against Mikey Garcia. This
Right.
was the first half. He just boxed him.
Yeah.
And the power is still there. You know, at the end of his punches. Just don't
Yeah,
get
but-
greedy.
So Morgan, did you fight as a professional?
Yeah, a long time ago.
What was your
Featherweight, 126.
Great
how many fights did you have?
15.
15 fights. And was that
What about
that-
amateur?
Amateur, I had like 18.
Oh, really? So not a long amateur.
Because it's like Guyana is a small country. There are like 700,000 people.
Yeah.
It's the whole
Oh,
country.
wow.
So there's not it's not a big pool of anything.
Sure.
It's just like everything is a small. But
Did you have fights in the U.S.?
no, I never. It's more like in Guyana and the Caribbean, Barbados.
Were you the Caribbean champion?
No, I was champion in Guyana. But
Guyana.
Yeah.
Guyanese champion.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those days was young.
So
I was
you're
in the
thinking of a
70s.
comeback?
I've seen these guys. I'm thinking maybe I could take on
You know what? I think Colin can take
take
Nate. I think he can take
We
Nate
take
Robinson.
You still work out?
Yes, I still.
What do you do? What kind of
I
work?
was with Brian in
Must
the gym
run.
all
No,
the
run,
time.
right?
No, I don't.
Really? You look like a runner.
I'm in the gym, like training Brian. I'm training out of
Sure.
young kids, and I do like pull-ups, push-ups,
Okay.
crazy stuff.
Doug is a
I
pull-up
could
master.
do.
Doug's the pull-up king.
I'm out of practice. Though.
I could do like push-ups like this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, on
Like
two
this,
fingers.
Not like this.
Nice.
Like this.
Like that.
Like this.
Two fingertips.
Fingertip pull-ups.
stuff.
Like
Yeah, I do
push-ups,
like
yeah.
that kind of stuff. I do.
Colin and Brian, they opened up a gym in New York.
Saying.
What's it
Yes.
called,
Bout
Colin?
Fight Club. Bout.
Bout Fight
Club,
Club.
New York City.
Like
That's right.
B-O-U-T.
Yeah, B-O-U-T.
Like the
Where
bout.
is it?
Yeah.
B-O-U-T. B-O-U-T.
It's on Fulton and Nassau Street.
It's right by the commission. If you know where the New York State Athletic Commission is, it's like
Downtown Manhattan.
a street away. Downtown Manhattan.
Commissioners should go and work out and get some.
Get some boxing
knowledge.
tips.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
They should.
And Colin actually trained Mike Perez as well in Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For 3 years, I've worked with Mike
In Ireland.
in Ireland.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
We won the prize fighter. We won a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, he was with Mike when they won the prize fighter. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
England.
Yeah.
Trained Guillermo Jones when he won the.
Oh, man, he could
Guillermo
fight.
Jones,
Hey,
talented.
in
I covered
2008.
Guillermo Jones' fight when he was a junior middleweight,
Yeah.
and he goes all the way to cruiserweight
Cruiserweight,
to
yeah.
win his title.
Right.
But
But he had that little man skill. Oh, he was slick.
yes, I've won like 4 times in Italy, Germany, Japan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Guillermo is from Panama,
he's
right?
from Panama.
Guillermo Jones.
All right, Coach. Should we get to your questions? I know you worked hard on them today.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. So Brian Sabala was born in 1994,
94. Okay.
February 28th.
That's when I graduated high school.
It wasn't
Yeah, right.
It was not a leap year. It wasn't a leap year. What was the leap year?
I don't know.
You don't know that.
Leap
I don't know
year?
about leap years, yeah. I don't believe. I think it's all hooey.
I don't follow that
I
either.
don't think it's real. I don't believe in daylight savings. I don't believe. I'm not sure the world is round.
But you believe in the coronavirus, so that's a good
Okay,
thing.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask
well,
you
you
this.
see.
19
Yeah. See,
And
social
color
distancing.
coordinate.
94. Okay.
Okay. I want to tell who was a guy lost, a real famous guy lost his first fight in 94.
94.
94?
Yeah.
Oh, James Toney.
Well,
He lost his first fight in 1994. That was a big deal.
okay, and someone else lost one in 94. It was more famous.
More famous than Lights Out James.
Okay. Who did James lose to? It was Roy Jones, right?
Roy Jones Jr.
Yep,
We just
there you
watched
go.
him box last night.
Yep.
That
There you go.
wasn't a knockdown. In that
No,
I
it was
was
off
there.
balance. Yeah.
He did, but he was 15 pounds overweight on the Monday before the fight.
I remember James was training with Freddie
Yeah.
at the old Outlaw gym still.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was so dehydrated they had to rehydrate him
yeah, with the IV.
with IV afterwards.
And he's waterlogged.
Yeah, he said he literally felt the liquid slushing in the stomach that wasn't
Yeah.
absorbed.
He's I consider James Toney a great fighter, but he really could have been an all-time great. had he been disciplined between fights.
Yeah.
Everything is amazing.
He was very athletically
he's still arguably an all-time
talented.
Yeah, he is,
Yeah,
for sure.
no
I
question.
voted him. I voted for him with the Hall of Fame.
No
He was on the
question.
ballot.
But he had no discipline whatsoever.
He doesn't know how to speak to people. He's so rude. He's very rude.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no, he's
but you know
crass.
something? There's some humor behind it.
Yeah.
You know, he's rude, but he's a real nice guy. And
He can
But a
be-
lot
China
of people,
the charm.
yeah, a lot of people don't know that though, because he can get angry. His temper comes out very quickly.
Yeah, it's all a put on. He's actually.
Half the time it is. half the time
I've seen him in sparring that
Yeah,
he wasn't so friendly.
Me too. I've seen some crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
he wasn't so friendly.
Yeah, he tried to kill his manager.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm not mad at him for that.
Okay, well, what was another fighter that lost?
1994.
Yeah, lost.
Real high profile.
94.
Lost, huh?
And so Brian was born on February 28th, and this fight happened on January 29th.
1994.
Yeah.
Who was undefeated? Oh, was it Julio Cesar Chavez?
Yeah.
And that was against Frankie Randall.
Randall. Wow.
Now tell me, Dave, what was Frankie Randall's nickname? Do you know, Kyle?
I know this one.
Yeah, Tom knows it. Tom's good with the 90s.
I don't remember anything.
Here's a hint. He would go into the ring with something like
The
this.
surgeon.
There you go, the surgeon.
Wow.
You know why I know about Frankie Randall? Obakar beat Frankie Randall.
That's right.
Obakar beat Frankie Randall in order to get the shot at Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya.
The winner of that fight was going to get the fight with Oscar.
And that was, and De La Hoya Obakar was the first headliner at Mandalay Bay.
First fight at Mandalay Bay. That's right.
That was May of 1999.
99. That's right. Yeah, we were involved with the first promotion at Mandalay Bay.
And
That's
I
that's
met
why
some pro wrestlers there.
that's why it's still my favorite hotel
All
in
of
Vegas.
them are dead now.
I've always stayed loyal to Mandalay
Oh,
Bay.
dude, wrestlers don't live long, man. Yeah, so I met Mr.
Yeah,
Perfect there.
Larry would know about
Talk
that.
Boxing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's a hard life, man.
it is. It's a rough life.
They don't.
They're on the road a lot and a lot of aches and pains and
And a lot of drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol and
Okay, so
Steroids.
What was a really big upset that year?
1994.
Yeah, really big.
So we had James Toney
Randall
losing.
Randall over Chavez was
But I
an
mean,
upset.
bigger.
Really, a bigger one?
Was that Tyson? No. Oh no, that was before that.
Back yet.
Yeah, that
Tyson was still in jail.
Yeah.
Big upset.
Big upset.
In 1994.
Come straight to the back where we were sitting yesterday.
Historical.
Historical. Oh, I know. George Foreman knocking out Michael Moore.
Oh, Michael Moore. That's right.
About that?
I remember that.
Yeah, but we knew you.
That's when Top Rank was promoting that show.
Shocked, Dougie.
I won a medal or something.
Hey,
you should have bought like some pastries from there.
But that was a weird.
You get a
punch.
muffin.
Wasn't that a
everyone you
weird
get.
punch?
It was a short right hand.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just so.
Right on the button.
Out of nowhere.
It was
Yeah.
in slow motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
But it had a big effect.
Yeah.
I
George was in slow motion.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? Michael Moore got a little bit too comfortable staying in the pocket.
That's right.
Because he could see
Yeah.
everything.
It was too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you.
But hey, you know what? What fight made me think George Foreman was the real deal? Was when he fought Cooney. Was Cooney trained for that fight? I think Cooney had he worked with my man who trained Emil Griffin.
Clancy.
Griffith. Yeah, Gil
Gil Clancy.
Gil Clancy trained him. They got in good shape. Cooney was not young, but he was like 32, 33. People still call that fight Geezers at Caesars.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But the thing is Cooney got off. He hit him. He hit George hard to the body and the head, and George handled it. And the punch selection that George had in knocking out Cooney was like.
So I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you the guy this guy fought.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to try to see how far I can take you. Okay.
Okay.
And this guy is a famous fighter. But I'm going to give you some of the guys he fought.
That he fought. This
Yeah.
fighter.
And you give me their nicknames, okay? He fought Chico Verona. You don't know who that is?
Chico Verona. Have you heard of Chico Verona?
Dougie.
Sounds like a cool name though.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him.
Sounds like a popular
Yeah.
Puerto Rican fighter.
If Doug doesn't
from,
know
the
him, I
60s,
definitely don't know him.
Or 50s or 60s or something.
Jesus?
Okay. He fought a guy named William Horatio Butler Jr. And I want you to
Cool
tell
name.
me, and he's from the Bahamas. And that's a big hint.
Oh, that's not his fighting name. That's the guy's real name.
Yeah.
Yama Bahama?
You got it. What was his record?
Oh no, he lost as much as he won, but he was a TV fighter.
Yama
Larry
Bahama.
Merchant's favorites. I
All
think
these
Merchant just likes
guys
the
had
name.
huge records. 77 wins, 14 losses.
Wow.
Oh, okay, so not as many losses. I'm thinking of
Okay.
somebody else.
Here's also a guy this guy fought. I want his nickname. They fought 2 times. His name's Ralph Jones.
Right,
You know that.
right.
You want his nickname?
Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger Jones.
Yeah.
How many, okay.
I don't know.
He had a lot of fights.
Tiger Jones?
He lost a lot, but he
Okay.
won a lot. I know one of his wins was Sugar Ray Robinson.
You.
One fight after Robinson made his comeback in 1955.
Decision.
Yeah, 10-round
It
decision.
was on TV. So
Of course, it
here's
was on
another
TV.
guy. Okay. What's Gaspar Ortega's nickname, which we talked about before?
Indian.
El Indio.
El Indio.
Okay. Tell me his record.
No clue.
Yes.
Collins knows.
No idea.
131 and 39.
39. Wow.
131 wins.
That's a lot of fights.
39 losses. I like that. I respect that.
What's this son?
170 fights.
Rudy, right? Rudy Ortega? No.
This is like going way deep,
Thinking of
coach.
Rudy
No,
Battle.
no, he knows that for sure.
No, he's a referee.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
and he just sort of changed his first name just recently.
Really?
Yeah, he went from. You know who it is.
I know. I forget.
Dougie, oh my
Ortega.
God.
He often referees the fights in Connecticut.
He does.
Yeah.
Mike Ortega?
Mike Ortega. Yeah.
Well, it was Michael Ortega until recently. Now
Mike
it's
Ortega.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
a better
now
name,
here's
too.
another guy he fought. You're so far you don't know who I'm talking about. They
This guy fought.
All
He
these
fought
guys.
Gaspar Ortega, Yama Bahama.
Yeah.
Who was the other guy?
Chico Verona.
Emil Griffith.
No.
Okay.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
No. But this guy fought Sugar Ray Robinson too.
And you say Tiger Jones fought this dude
Tiger
too.
Jones. Okay, he also.
So we're talking about these guys were like around like junior middleweight,
Yeah,
middleweight,
Exactly.
and we're talking about the 50s, maybe
Yeah,
early 60s.
Exactly.
Was
Well,
this guy? Did he ever win a world title?
Yeah.
He was a champion, huh?
Okay, I'll give you another guy he fought. I want his nickname. Danny Womber.
What?
Womber?
Danny Womber. I want to know his nickname, and I want to know who he fought in his last fight.
I think
where
you're
it
making
was.
this name up.
No?
Never heard of Danny
This
Womber.
guy was a big TV fighter.
He was Danny Womber.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is.
You know his nickname?
Is that Dazzling Danny?
Bang Bang.
Oh, Bang Bang.
Danny Bang Bang Womber.
That's like Bang Bang
I know
Lulu.
who you could ask. There's only 2 people probably that I know that know it. And that's Larry Merchant would know it for sure.
Yes.
And
Maybe Bill Kaplan.
Bill Kaplan.
There you go.
Okay. His last fight was at the Olympic Auditorium in 1953.
Are you talking about Danny or the mystery
Danny
fight?
Womber.
Oh, okay.
Was he managed by
Wait,
Jackie
when was his
McCoy?
last fight? What year?
1953.
Okay.
He lost the unanimous.
Oh, so maybe we're
decision.
talking about a guy who fought in the 40s and 50s.
These guys fought late 40s, 50s, and 60s. The guys I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy.
But the mystery fighter, his
Oh, yeah.
prime, what would you say his prime was? His prime years?
60s, 50s, 60s.
50s, 60s.
Ezra Charles?
Was he a welterweight champ? Was it?
He had a nickname too.
Was it Geronimo?
What would he had like 3 fights with Sugar
You
Ray
know, if
Robinson.
you get this, you know what you win. I mean, this is like a big prize.
It's a big prize.
That you, well, just that you can say that you got.
If you can get it before
Was
Doug.
it Gene Fulmer?
It wasn't Dick Tiger.
Young Dick Tiger?
Yeah, remember Young
Okay,
Dick Tiger?
I want to. Speaking of Gene Fulmer,
Yeah.
okay, you know the guy that Brian's fighting this week.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Larry Gomez.
Where's he from?
Well, you know what?
Utah.
The same place as Gene Fulmer. Where are they from? What city?
Salt Lake City?
Provo?
West Jordan, Utah.
Oh, West Jordan, Utah?
So the mystery fighters from the same city?
No,
No,
I
that's
think
because-
it could be Jacob Lamont.
No.
I've never been to West Jordan, Utah.
Brian's fighting this week from West Georgia,
Oh.
the same place as Gene Fullman.
Oh, from Gene Fullman. But the mystery guy is not Gene Fullman. Was he a middleweight or a welterweight?
Both.
Both.
Okay, let me tell you some guys he fought without nicknames.
Okay.
Billy Graham,
All right.
Chuck Davey,
Oh.
Gil Turner, Bobby
Oh,
White.
okay. Was it Carmen Basilio?
No.
It wasn't Carmen Basilio?
Uh-oh.
Okay, all right.
Now you're really stumped.
All
He
right.
also fought Rocky Castellani. You know who that is?
Was it Luis Rodriguez?
No.
I know Rocky
This
Castellani.
is the greatest day of my life.
Was it the Cinderella
The
Man?
heck out of me here.
So Rocky Castellani, what's his nickname?
Rocky.
Okay, I'm going to give you the Spanish version.
Rocky the Rock.
I'm going to give you the actually, it might be Italian version.
Wait, so the mystery man fought Gil Turner.
Yeah.
He was a welterweight.
Chuck Davies,
Chuck Davey.
Gil Turner,
Yama Bahama.
Billy Graham.
Oh, Kid Gavilan?
You got it.
Oh, Kid Gavilan. Okay,
What's his
there we go.
nickname?
The Hawk. The Cuban Hawk.
You got it.
Cuban Hawk.
Wow. Jeez.
Unlike Aaron the Hawk Pryor, he was the
One
Cuban
more
Hawk,
guy
right?
He fought Ramon Fuentes.
Oh, Kid Gavilan fought everybody.
And Ramon Fuentes was really a tough guy.
Yeah.
You remember him?
I've heard it.
Wow, Doug, I'm surprised you didn't get Kid Gavilan earlier than that.
How many names did you have to
What's
bring
the-
up? God, like a
what's
dozen.
Ramon Fuentes?
Shame on me. What about Ramon? Oh, he had a nickname?
Yeah.
I don't know. El Toro.
Chuck Moody.
Chuck Moody. What are you talking about?
That was his fighting name?
That's his nickname.
Coach is making stuff up
No.
now.
No, I'm not.
It's come to this.
All right. Do you got any?
Gets a kick out
You
of
got
it.
any, Coach? You got anything that people would recognize on the?
Well, they recognize that we beat Dougie.
No,
Wow,
I
You
got
did.
it
You stumped.
eventually.
You stumped Dougie.
Yeah.
You stumped Dougie. Normally, it only takes like one or two names.
Yeah, last time it just only took like three names. That was a good one. Yeah, this was not a high score. This is not a Gosh,
I think
See,
And I'm
Colin
a-
is not impressed right now.
I'm a Kid Gavilan fan. I'm a big fan of Kid Gavilan.
All right. So I guess we should wrap up. How did just one last question, Colin? How did it go, like training for this fight during the whole pandemic, the virus? You know, having to be careful with that. Flying out here to LA. Now you got the last few days out here in LA. How's the training and preparation been under these circumstances as opposed to for a regular fight?
Yeah, I think we're like a little blessed in a way because we have our own gym.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to depend on
Going
some
to-
private gym. So
right.
even during the pandemic, we could still me and Brian could just go in, lock the place up, and
Right.
just train because it's our gym.
Now, what about sparring partners? How did you handle sparring partners, like to be careful with the virus and that type of thing?
Right. So what I've done with Brian from the time I started training him,
Yeah.
we use the same guys to spar with.
Okay. All right.
And this is something I want him to do throughout his career, just keep the same guys.
Okay.
These guys are really loyal.
And they're reliable and
They're
good work.
reliable, They will
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Anytime they cancel work to spar with Brian.
Okay.
Really nice guys.
Yeah.
And, so they all got tested. And they shop to train. To
That's
spar.
good.
get tested.
I test like every week I get tested because I got the gym. So
How often did you test the sparring partners?
every other week.
Every second week. Because Luke Campbell, remember when Luke Campbell tested positive, they had to postpone his fight. Then they started testing their sparring partners every day that they were sparring.
Yeah, it's hard to do that in Europe
Every day.
because the line it's like around.
Yeah, it's the testing is.
Wow, really?
Dave had a
Somebody's
test
gonna be there
this
every
week.
day to stand in line. It takes like all
And
day waiting.
I had a chauffeur driver,
Nice.
real
Yeah.
fancy car, drive me to this really
Private lab.
I would expect
private
nothing
lab.
less.
Private lab, nice bathroom inside the lab.
Everything was clean. they
That's
were all
important.
nice. Actually,
No wait.
no wait whatsoever. Got the results in about 5 hours. And actually, the test, which I was a little antsy about.
It looks challenging on the videos, right? When you see it.
Nothing. The
It's
guy,
not too bad. Yeah.
he was through, and I thought he was just starting.
Well, maybe you got guys now who they have a
Maybe they have the thinner, either that or the thinner thing,
Yeah.
or Dave's got a
You know
big.
how folks
Maybe
take
Dave
your
has a
blood,
big
they
nasal
get
cavity.
Good at it after a while. They
Yeah.
They're not getting better at putting that stuff.
You definitely need to have your head at an angle.
There's
I'll
nothing
tell you
better
that
than putting
that
up in your nose.
that helps.
It's
That
intrusive.
helps
It
too.
almost felt good.
We use it cleaned your nose. We use smaller swabs out here in California,
Tom,
Colin, than in New
Tom,
York.
get a look at Dave's socks.
Yep, he's got
Yeah,
the
the
classic
polka dots.
polka dots. Those are his good luck charms. Yep.
I was gonna say it's gotta be good.
All right, so we'll wrap up now. Colin, good luck Thursday night with Brian. You go into the bubble tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, Brian's
Yeah.
in great shape, and he's going to put on a really good performance.
He's going to be fighting at 147, and
And
yeah,
I'm excited that a wide audience will get a chance.
yeah, this
to
would
see
be a
Brian.
big platform on
Yeah,
the
he's
NBC
like,
Sports Network.
Every time Brian fights, you're going to see like something different because we adjust to whoever he's fighting.
Yeah,
So there's no like just one-dimensional stuff.
yep.
So you will just see some real skills on Thursday night. Yeah.
You'll be watching, right, Coach? NBC Sports Network on
Props to Ring City, USA.
No, it's good.
On Thursday night,
Yeah.
December
They
3.
have on, Sean Porter is one of the announcers.
Commentators,
the
yeah.
announcing team, commentating team is really good.
Brian Campbell's very good. Yeah,
Bob Papa.
Bob Papa is good. Yeah, that's a solid team.
Yeah. Oh, well, last time it was The Voice. It was. I'm spacing out on his name. Out of Texas. He's amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
And
good production all around.
great production from the gym of Freddie Roach in the parking lot, and also shout out to Snoop Dogg, who did a great job commentating
Man, he made
for
he
the
made
Tyson
that
Jones
show.
fight. Really
That was a tight
brought that
show.
to life.
That was a tight show.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, thanks for joining us,
Thank you,
Carl.
Dave.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Good, Coach.
Yeah,
Drive like you just won the lottery.
absolutely.
Do you know there's a statistic that there's more DUI fatalities in this year in San Diego County than all of last year, and much less traffic,
That's
but
weird.
like 30% higher DUI fatalities.
All right.
So people be careful, drive safe. Yeah, they're driving faster probably, and just not paying as much attention.
Being happy.
Who's that? Oh, being positive. Yeah,
That's
being
the most important thing.
being outdoors, being in the sunshine,
How
exercising.
about being nice to everyone? No
Be
matter
friendly.
what. No matter
We're all in this pandemic together, so if someone's in front of you in the line in the store or whatever, always be positive.
We're all
And
in this life together. So
that's
you
right.
It shouldn't end when the pandemic's over.
That's right.
It's just start.
That's right.
You're right about that. Okay, Doug.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Okay, we're gonna sign off.
See you next Sunday.
Signing off from beautiful Marina Del Rey. There's a few more paddle boarders out there. There's a few yachts. There's a very famous screenwriter, and he also was a writer. Speaking of WWE,
Yeah.
Larry Mullen, who's has 2 books out now.
Yeah. And is he also
Cayuga.
the fastest 74-year-old 100-meter
And 200 meter.
He holds a world record over 70. Did you know that, Colin?
Yeah, he told me that earlier today.
Yeah, Larry Mullen holds a world record for over 70 years old for 100 meters.
Even Kevin Costner is.
Kevin was impressed too.
Yeah, Kevin
Yeah.
was really.
So we don't have access to his backyard anymore, but we have here the beautiful Marina Del Rey. But what'd you say it was, Coach? 78 degrees today?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Our weather report from Southern California. Okay, signing off.
Adios.
Everyone take care. Take the virus serious. Wear your mask. We'll see you later. We're socially distant, so you're good, Doug.